Hello and welcome back to the channel for Everyday Light. I hope you're having a blessed day. And today I wanted to share with you something special I observed from the book of Genesis, and specifically relating to Joseph's life, and involves Joseph, Jacob, and Benjamin. So let's hop in. So we're going to start with reading Genesis 30 chapters 1 through 24. So it says, "And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed, and she called his name Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, Is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived, and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Lord shall add to me another son. So isn't that interesting? So some things I pick up from this passage is that, one, Leah just wanted to be loved. She wanted Jacob to love her. And it seems like, she thought having children, finally now he'll love me. And it's like, she wanted that. But Jacob really loved Rachel, but she couldn't have children, so that must have been frustrating. And then Rachel's in a tough spot, and interesting scenario. But let me finish reading this other passage first, and then we'll come back to the main thing I was going to say. So we'll hop over to Genesis 35, verses 6 through 18. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared unto him when he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel underneath an oak, and the name of it was called Elon Bachuth. And God appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padan Aram, and blessed him. And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty, be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. And God went up from him in the place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him Bethel. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she was hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have the son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called his name Benjamin. So, the interesting thing about this information is that if you've read all of Genesis, you know that, what Joseph's brothers did to him, and how Jacob had that special care for Benjamin as well when the brothers came back from Egypt and wanted to bring Benjamin. And I never really thought about it, but yeah, Joseph and Benjamin were the only children that were born of Rachel, and Jacob loved Rachel. So perhaps there was some favoritism there, or special affection, and the other siblings, picked up on that, and that was part of the reason that they didn't like him. But whenever, as a parent or anyone in a position of authority, it's never a good thing to show favoritism. Like, if you're like a high school coach or whatever, teacher, like, people can pick up very easily, like, if you have favorites. And I've had some blessed leaders in my life that were pretty good at just everyone gets the same treatment, and that's how it is. But we've had some leaders in our lives, right, whether it's work or wherever, where there's some of the other things going on. But that's just something interesting that I learned from the stories, like, because I always wondered, like, did Joseph's brothers just not like him or whatever reason, or did Jacob just like get along better with Joseph and he was into the stuff he was into? But then reading that, it's like, oh, Joseph and Benjamin were the only children born of Rachel. And so anyways, something interesting. It seems like there's always something interesting from the Bible that we're learning about. And so that's what that's something exciting and neat to me. And it's also encouraging because these are not perfect people as we read these stories. And I think it's encouraging in a way because humanity is not perfect, but God still works with us despite our shortcomings and our foolish decisions, and he can still use us in ways. But we should strive to be like Christ. But anyways, if you have any thoughts, feel free to comment about something you gleaned from Jacob and Joseph's lives. And you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.